For the people watching, a lot of people don't know. I think it's quite difficult to understand the decline of the West. I thought, you know what? I'm paying to be locked up in my own house. I'm getting out.
Have you ever revealed the magic trick that you did during the Ellen show?
Luca Gallone.
Luca Gallone is a British magician and social media entrepreneur with over 18 million followers. His illusions quickly found traction online, amassing millions of views and shares.
Whatever business venture you have, if you have an audience first, you can make it work. I will be the first podcast guest to do magic on your podcast.
Wow.
So you can see all the cards and you can just take one out from the deck. I'm going to show you how a magician can actually find your card now. I bet you $100 the next card I turn over will be your card.
Really?
We'll shake on it. I bet you $100.
Okay.
$100.
By the way, what do you think is the most important part? Is the trick or the reaction?
If you copy from one person, you'd be considered a fraud. If you copy from 10 people, you're considered a genius. I'd be interested to know, like, you've had virals. What's the viral formula? What would you say? And then I'll tell you what I would say.
We once got strike from Grant Cardone for some reason. Yeah, he didn't like the thing that he said himself.
You think in a positive society, okay, this guy's making videos, he's making content, he's found a new way to make money. You'd think people would be like, good on you. No, the comments were all like, ah ha ha, yeah, that kid's right, yeah, get a job.
Is that envy?
It's envy, but it's also they don't understand the model.
And they also really kind of envy because of the fact that you are also making a living off of it. I had a normal job actually for 5-6 years maybe.
What was that like? I don't know what that was. I don't know what that feels like.
I mean, I have a feeling that they would rather spend $100 to kind of lower me down, but not a single dollar for them.
You're not going to amount to anything, Luca. This magician thing's a load of bullshit. Like people who say money doesn't make you happy. The only rich people who say that are the people trying to like keep the other people poor. Okay, so give your money away to me. Okay, fine. You don't want to.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our podcast, which doesn't have a name and I don't think it will ever will. But I have a special guest for you today. A guy who is really big on social media. He is one of the most famous magicians on the internet right now and in the world. Please meet Luca Gallone.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, brother?
I'm great. I'm honored to be the first guest. Maybe.
Yeah, thank you for accepting our invitation.
This
means
excited.
Really, yeah. First, I really wanted to talk to you about your background. Because, I mean, I've known you since maybe 2022, I think. Is that the first time that you ever came to Armenia?
Yeah. So we should say probably we're in Armenia. We're in the beautiful land of Armenia, which is your homeland.
Yeah.
It's my kind of second home now. Are you asking why did I come to Armenia?
Yeah, let's start with that.
Okay, why did I come to Armenia?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that too many people have already asked that question because it's not really usual because I think you're already living here. I've seen
Yeah. I mean, not all of the year, but I spend a lot of time in Armenia.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. It's just there's something a special hold the country has. It's got a very homely feel. I came here completely by accident.
Yeah.
I was traveling around. The summer that I came, I'd been to about 10 countries.
Yeah.
So I'd experienced different variety. And then I got to Armenia randomly. I was in Georgia next door for about a month.
Mm-hmm.
I had a few more days. I thought, where can I go? Someone messaged me, hey, why don't you try Armenia? I thought, 30-minute flight, Tbilisi to Yerevan. Got the flight, got there.
Yeah.
Instantly within the first day, just loved it. Just something about it, the vibe, the people. And then... and then the first trip was incredible. I did a meetup after 4 or 5 days in Yerevan and 200 or 300 people turned up. And I don't know, the love I was getting from the Armenians was something very different. So I thought, you know what, I'll come back. Came back a second time. Third time I came back, set up a business here, got some Armenian staff, made it a base for me. I'm a bit nomadic, but it is a base.
Yeah.
And that's for the last 3 years. So I've been here a lot. Waiting for my Armenian passport, maybe at some point.
Really?
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe at some point I'm entitled to it, but I don't know. So,
why do you need an Armenian passport?
I don't need an Armenian passport, but you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, one day if I'm here long enough, they're gonna say you can apply for it. But I'd have to learn some Armenian for that. So,
I mean, yeah, there were some celebrities that got Armenian passport. I mean, I remember Dan Bilzerian. I mean, he's Armenian, but he did not have any Armenian documents here, and they just handled it to him. I think you are here for only 2 years, and I think you have more friends in Armenia than I have in 24 years here.
Okay. Do I have
Yeah,
more
'cause-
friends in Armenia? I don't know. I know a lot of people here. I don't. It's something weird to me, bro, to be honest with you. So most people watching, unless they're Armenian, may not even be able to point to Armenia on a map. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get this all the time. You tell people in the UK where I'm from, Armenia, they're gonna say, "What do you mean, Romania?"
Romania,
No.
yeah.
Armenia, Armenia, my friend. And even sometimes when I'm here, bro, I have that moment where I think, "What am I doing in Armenia? Like, how do I just come to this random place, know people, know my way around, feel comfortable here? I don't speak Armenian.
Yeah.
I don't speak Russian. I don't know. It's a mystery
I guess you
to
have
me.
like your roots are from UK and Italy.
Yeah, so I'm half Italian,
Yeah.
British Italian. My dad's Italian, my mom's British, and
And you always lived in the UK, right?
I lived in UK till about 2021. So then COVID came about, all this nonsense came about. There was the UK
Yeah.
was one of the harshest places for the lockdowns, things like that. I was paying a lot of tax there. I thought, you know what? I'm paying to be locked up in my own house. I'm getting out.
Yeah.
I went to Dubai. That was the first place I went to. So we can talk about this as well. You know, I think now it's a very global world. If you got an online business, you can kind of go wherever you want. So you
Yeah.
can go to the place where you feel suits you the best.
Yeah.
And I went to Dubai for a bit. Dubai is great. Good taxes. Very hot in summer. Okay. I don't know if you've ever been there in
Yeah, I've
like
been
August
there
or something.
in December, but it was fine.
Yeah, December's
Yeah.
fine. December's perfect actually, but August and July, you don't want to be in Dubai in August. Let me tell you that. So
Yeah.
I thought, you know what, I need to find a few other places, and Armenia was one of the places, one of the main places that I found that I really liked, and so I've added it to my what would you call it, like rotation of, but it's one of the main bases. You know, I spent a lot of the year in Armenia, so yeah.
Oh,
it.
yeah. So you went out from the UK because of the taxes. By the way,
Not just because of the taxes. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like the whole country. Look, the Western. It's quite hard to describe this sometimes to people in a country like Armenia, because for the people watching, a lot of people don't know. If you're from a country like Armenia, I think it's quite difficult to understand the decline of the West and how a place like Armenia compares to the, let's say, legacy Western countries like UK, USA, Europe. And one of the things I'd say, bro, is there's so many, if you look at even safety, things like that,
Yeah.
you know, I just made a video. I don't know whether you saw it on my Instagram, leaving the Rolls Royce keys
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
Rolls Royce, and then walking away. And I copied that from the Dubai version because I've seen people in Dubai doing this, and I thought I could do the same in Armenia. I also did a wallet drop. I don't know if you saw the wallet drop video.
No, I haven't seen that one.
So I walk around Yerevan, I drop my wallet out my back pocket, and then we see if people would pick it up and give it back. And basically everybody picked it up and gave it back. Nobody ran away with my wallet.
Nobody?
Nobody.
Ooh. The Yerevan overall is very, very safe. I mean, the idea that if at 4 a.m. you are about to, I don't know, go and have a walk, regardless if you are woman or man, you can safely have a walk here all the time.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So I really want to talk about the first year as a content creator. It was really, really long time ago. I think, when did you start actually filming content?
I think start of 2018 was my first videos that, you know, when I first really committed to making videos. But it didn't just randomly come about. So you're asking about how did I get into it? Or
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been a magician since I was a kid. So I had this skill. And so I got hooked on magic when I was about 6. And it was always my passion. So when I had done my, let's say, it's called A levels in the UK. So you do that before you go to university. So you get your qualification, you've got your tick in the box to go to uni. So everybody was telling me, obviously, to go to uni. I didn't want to go. And I wanted to be a magician. So my dad really wanted me to go. I said, sorry, Dad, I'm going to actually not go to uni. I'm going to become a magician.
Yeah. So you're 17 at this point?
I was about 18, right?
Yeah.
So my dad was very disappointed at the time. He's very proud now. But, you know, as you can imagine, if you say to any parent, I'm going to become a magician, it sounds like a crazy idea.
Yeah.
But I knew I could make it work if I just had some time to commit to it. So the first, let's say, so up until about, so I started social media about when I was about 22 years old. But before that, I was doing magician gigs all over the UK. So I was doing lots of like private parties, weddings, corporate events. I was performing all the time. But I could just see like there was a bigger opportunity with social media because there's always sometimes a ceiling to where you can go. In a field like that, you can, without a social media presence, you kind of you can only go so far because you need to grow your own like personal brand.
Yeah.
But I think back in 2018, we were just like, it was the kind of time where, let's say if you went 5 years before that, 3 to 5 years before that, it was all about TV, yeah?
Yeah.
So let's say, in my instance, being a magician, if you wanted to be a famous magician, you'd have to have a TV series, land a TV series, which is like a lottery because there can only be like, in UK, I mean, how many TV magicians who are big can you have? 1, 2? There was probably 2. And, but it was coming to the point where social media was coming out of the woodwork and people could create it by themselves. So there was now no gatekeeper on your own success. If you had the hustle, if you had the work ethic, if you could create content, you could create it all by yourself. So I just saw the opportunity and I went, you know what? I need to get on this now and I need to make content. Yeah. And I need to go viral. And that's what I did. And so I stopped doing it's a bit of a risk, but I stopped doing all my gigs, which are paying well. I was doing very well at the time. I was booked out all the time, charging good fees. I said, I'm going to stop taking all bookings. I'm going to move to London, which is let's say, one of the most expensive cities in the world. Yeah. Just behind Yerevan, which is surprisingly. Yeah. And went there, trying to find the right people. Took me a bit of time. Eventually met some really good people and started making content, and we started. So I'm really surprised that you were able to monetize your skills and your talent before social media. Because I think social media is the thing that really gave us ability to monetize what we are doing, monetize our hobbies essentially. And you were doing gigs already before it. Yeah. Yeah. And what would you say is the difference between the gigs and the social media? I mean, were there some maybe not really nice instances with the gigs that you decided to quit it completely? Or what about social media that made you like transform fully? It just has a bigger potential, you know. At the time I wanted to become the biggest magician possible. The TV show was dying out. People weren't watching TV as much now. And social media had enormous potential. You could become, I just thought at the time, I remember who were the biggest people at the time. And for me, it was Jake and Logan Paul were making vlogs, right? Yeah. And I just thought to myself, you know what? First of all, if Logan Paul came out tomorrow, this is when he was at his peak, just before the Suicide Forest Japan thing. Yeah. Right? I mean, he was flying. I thought, mate, if Logan Paul came out tomorrow and he said, you know what, guys, what's up, Logang, right? I've got a confession to make. You know what? For the last 15 years, I've kept it to myself. It's been a private hobby, but I'm actually a magician. Watch this. Pulls out some cards, does some magic tricks. I thought, well, Logan Paul is instantly the biggest magician in the world. Right now, luckily for me, he doesn't do magic. I don't need the competition. But I thought that's crazy when you think about it. All these magicians who have been hustling for years could be blown out of the water like that because this guy's got an audience
through Vines, right?
Well, through Vine and then YouTube. Yeah. So I thought, the ultimate holy grail is building an audience, because then no matter what you do, no matter what business venture you have, because to be honest, I was always quite entrepreneurial in my thinking. whatever business venture you have, if you have an audience first, you can make it work.
Yeah.
All the hustle of like trying to find customers, if you already have an audience of people, whatever you want to start, you can kind of start without having to do this, build it up from scratch.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was the only thing to do. It's the obvious thing to do.
By the way, what was the first platform that you jumped in? Maybe Facebook?
Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. What year was this?
2018.
2018. Yeah. So you weren't filming anything before that?
No. I mean, I started kind of dabbling in it end of 2017.
Yeah.
And then, to be honest, my first viral, I think, was right at the start of 2018. My first viral. I don't know whether you remember your first ever viral video, but like...
Actually, I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't so long time ago, actually. It was in 2022. My first ever viral video, it was a KSI video.
Okay.
The UK YouTuber, actually. And what I did is the next video that also blew up was again KSI. And that's been my strategy since now, because what I would do is I would just post someone, and then if it blows up, I will just create a similar one using the same person, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you started creating content in 2018, which, I mean, have you ever had a normal job? Maybe
no,
or any problems with your parents that insisted?
I had a normal. When I went on my gap year, after finishing, before university, I said to my dad, I said, I'm going to take a gap year to push my magic. In between that gap year, I was going to make it work.
Yeah.
But he was saying to me, you should get a job like in between, because when you go to uni at the end of that, they're going to be asking, what have you done for the last year? So I applied for this apprenticeship job.
Yeah.
And I lasted 2 weeks. I got fired because I was trying to tell the boss how to do his own job, and he didn't like it. I was 18 years old, but
Cool.
But
okay, I mean, that's the entrepreneurial mindset to tell the boss what to do, actually, because
exactly.
Yeah, you weren't just doing the thing what they were saying, actually, not doing just the gigs as written in the rules, but you're also trying to experiment a little bit. And yeah, sometimes they are just limiting you at the time.
No, I would make a terrible employee. So I don't think I was cut out for that. And it showed instantly. So yeah, that was my only real job. I had another couple of got rejected for a couple of shop employee jobs. I did one shift as a bartender, and I was so bad pouring the beer that they didn't call me back. So I tried, but it never quite worked out. So,
I mean, being a magician has never been a job for us, especially when we were much younger. I mean, I remember there was a kid in my neighborhood who was doing some magic tricks and filming it and then uploading it to YouTube. And I mean, they were pretty impressive, but he did something that really kind of killed the vibe. When every time he would do the magic, he would also reveal it the next second.
Well, I do a lot of videos actually revealing tricks.
Yeah.
Showing behind the scenes of how a trick worked. But I don't reveal it. When I perform to people in the real world, I don't reveal them.
Yeah, I remember you also said that you don't like people to film you when you are filming on the street because there might be some frames that they will kind of expose the way you are doing it. But you are also mainly filming in the most noisy street in Armenia sometimes.
Why did you hear me say this? Did I say this on a video before?
Yeah, one podcast 5 years ago, actually, you said it.
A podcast 5 years ago? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's because, wow, you've done research. Podcast 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, when you film in public, the thing is you're making something which is for the audience watching on their phone. Yeah, mostly their phone.
Yeah.
And so what people forget sometimes is that, well, if I'm performing for you now and we don't have any cameras, I can just perform for you or these guys, yeah? But if I'm performing for a video, the primary audience is the people watching on the phone. So I'm gonna angle everything in the right way to basically benefit the end video that people see, right?
Yeah.
But that's why it's only going to work for the camera that I'm filming it for. If someone's over here, someone's behind me,
Yeah.
you know, they're going to.
How do you avoid it? But here, you're attracting crowds here.
It's difficult. I mean, I don't. It depends what video I'm filming. If it's a magic video, yes, sometimes I want to be more. If it's a certain trick, certain secret, I may take it away to a certain other area with less people. But if it's not, if it's something different, if it's something that's not magic related, I don't care too much, to be honest.
One thing that Luca knows really well is this: magic isn't just about tricks. It's about holding attention. And today, in the sea of competition, that's the hardest thing to do. This is exactly what we do at Financian. We don't just edit content. We make sure people can't scroll past it. We've helped brands and creators to grow up to 15 million followers by turning their message into something people actually care about. So, if you want to stop being invisible and start building real influence, check out Financian.com or click the link in the description. And let's make some magic happen.
Have you ever had any instances or maybe situations that whatever you did, I mean, no matter what you did, the person wasn't impressed at all?
Wasn't impressed?
Yeah. With no reaction.
Yeah,
I mean,
all the time.
really? And by the way, what do you think is the most important part? Is the trick or the reaction when you are filming with this?
For the video, the reaction.
The reaction, right?
100%.
Because I remember like MrBeast was talking about this as well, because he said that there were many instances when they would ask the attendants to film again because their reaction was dead. So he said that he would handle someone 100K and the reaction would be thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why people thought in the comments that this is fake or the money isn't real. That's why. So,
Yeah, I can totally see that, because especially if you're giving away 100K. But the thing is, everybody's reaction is different. And you find that when you perform magic,
yeah,
you get some people who go crazy. Okay. Like, look, to be honest with you, the best reactions are black people. Okay. 100%. You've seen like David Blaine back in the day. He went to the Bronx in New York. He's doing magic on people and they're screaming, oh my God, they're screaming, running away, going crazy, saying funny stuff. But like, if you go to London and just find a group of English white businessmen, their same reaction to the same trick might be, wow, yeah, that's very impressive. Yeah, well done.
Yeah. I mean, now here I think it's the same, because people are not really animated here like black people.
Yeah, you know, surprisingly, I thought it's a bit mixed here. Sometimes people are quite expressive, but sometimes I think people are a bit more. I think 'cause it's a small country, I think sometimes people are a bit self-conscious here. Yeah. Because they always know people around and they're always thinking about how they're going to be perceived. I think Armenians are sometimes very conscious of outside perception, you know. Not all, but some people. Hence the G-Wagon.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the case for here. Have you ever had any cases when someone was frustrated or maybe angry with you? Because I don't know if you've seen this very famous Russian meme when someone was like doing magic in taxi, and the driver, who was Caucasian, maybe he was Armenian as well, I don't know, but he got really angry. Don't do this stuff in my car.
Angry?
Yeah.
I've not.
They thought it's like some kind of dark magic or something.
Have I had I'm trying to remember. Have I had a black magic person? Not really. There's maybe been one time that happened. Yeah. But people's reaction's different. That's why it's very interesting, because I find when you do magic to people, it kind of brings out the inner child. It brings out kind of the real them sometimes. And I don't think there's anything else that can unlock that other than magic. It's very, very unique thing that you can do. And you don't even need the language. I mean, if you meet an Armenian here who doesn't speak English, I mean, the best thing I could do to create a connection with them is to show them a magic trick, because I don't need words. Magic speaks for itself, and they'll remember it. And people don't see it every day. I'll show you something in a minute, actually. But people don't see it every day, so it's very unique, and people can remember it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting stuff.
Okay. And by the way, regarding your magic tricks, have you ever revealed the magic trick that you did during the Ellen show? With someone from the audience, when you said, keep any card in your mind. And I think she kept like hearts of 5. And you did, the famous trick. Have you ever revealed how you do it, actually?
Or how I predict the card?
Yeah. I mean, it was written. It wasn't even the card. Yeah, I will show, by the way, the footage here.
Where
do you even remember this?
I don't know.
The Ellen show.
The Ellen show. Oh, the Ellen show.
Yeah,
sorry.
5 years ago.
Sorry, the Ellen show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How did I do it?
Yeah. Have you ever revealed it? Yeah. Like how?
No. The only people who know how I did that were like myself, one of my magic friends who I worked on that trick with, and
so you're
maybe my friend who went with me that day. I don't know, but not many people know that.
Yeah. Do you have cards with you? Maybe here.
You want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really.
Let's do it. Just funnily enough, I did bring some cards with me. Okay, so it's your lucky day. Let's try this. Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit different with these.
Okay.
So this is the I will be the first podcast guest to do magic on your podcast. So this is I'm very happy.
Come on, let's do it.
Right, so I'm going to let you choose a card. Now, most magicians, when they do this, they will do it face down like this, so you can't see. I'm going to be very fair. I'm going to do it face up.
Okay.
So you can see all the cards, and you can just take one out from the deck.
I can take it?
Yeah.
Okay, like...
I'll try not to look at the screen. So just take it like, I'll look away. I'll just take one out like that. Yeah, you got one?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Show it to one of the cameras at least.
Okay.
Tell me when the camera's seen it. Look, I'll actually close my eyes completely.
Yeah.
Has it seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Now, you said, just put it back about there in the deck for me. Fantastic. Now, I'm going to teach, you said about teaching tricks and revealing tricks.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how a magician can actually find your card now.
Okay.
So I'm going to teach you a bit of a technique that we use. Now, luckily, we have very high quality cameras in the room. And the lighting is good as well. So we might be able to see this, but really to be able to see which card is yours, you need a trained eye. You need to be able to actually tell the markings on the back. So it's a special marked deck, and if we angle it under the light, you might be able to just spot it. It's very, very subtle. You know, you won't be able to see it straight away. But if you look closely enough. Oh, there we go. You see that? So that'd be. So your card would be the two of clubs, yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So 2 of clubs is your card. Great. We'll leave that over there. I'll try it again.
Oh, okay.
We'll try it again. Take a different card. Take a different one out of the deck. Take. Anyone you like?
I like this one.
That one. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, before you show it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to keep that, or do you want to change your mind and take a different card out of the deck? It's up to you.
I'll change it.
You change it? Okay.
Yeah.
So put that one back. Okay. Take a completely different. Take a different one. Anyone you want?
Let's do this one.
That one. Okay. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Okay. Again, do you want to keep that card, or do you want to change it again?
I'll keep this one. Yeah.
You keep that. So
yeah.
Okay. So let's think about this. You've picked a card out of the deck. We did the cards. We spread them out face up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you could see exactly what you were choosing. I didn't do like the face down thing.
Yeah.
You changed your mind. Okay. So remember, if you would have chose a different card, if you would have chose the first card, it would have been a completely different card. But you've chosen one card out of the deck, and they are all different cards. I'm sure you can see through all the cards. They're indeed different. Okay. Do you want to show the card for the first time?
To you or to the...
It's okay. I can see it now. Okay. King of Hearts. Great. Okay. Perfect. Now, we put the blue card down. Can you even see it? I don't know if you can kind of see it. I just want to show that, like, obviously the card's been there under the glass the entire time.
Yeah.
King of Hearts, was it? Okay.
Yep.
So watch.
No.
Same again. King of hearts. And there we go. That's
What's wrong with that card, by the way? The blue one.
The blue one? What's wrong with it?
I don't know.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, it changed.
You can see.
No. By the way, is there any trick that you can kind of teach someone? For example, me, someone as untalented as me, for example, that can perform easily.
I told you how to find the card in the deck. It was very easy to find it.
Okay, so how did you change?
I'll give you one trick you can use.
Okay, yeah.
This is one trick you can show your family or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll show you first and I'll tell you how it was done.
Okay.
Okay, take one out. Anyone you'd like. Okay, look at it, remember it. Show it to a camera somewhere. Okay. Perfect. Put it back in the pack. Great. Okay, now we'll do this. I'm gonna give the cards a bit of a mix. Okay, I'm gonna deal through the cards. I'm gonna make you a bet. Okay. So we're here in Yerevan. Now we're gonna deal through these cards like this onto the table, and I'm gonna try and find your card from the deck. Okay, I bet you $100 the next card I turn over will be your card.
Really?
I bet you $100. We'll shake on it. I bet you $100.
Okay.
$100. Okay?
Okay.
The next card I turn over will be your card.
Okay.
You happy with the bet?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll turn over that one there, shall we? And then that'll be... Was it it was a 7?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So $100, thank you. You weren't going to pay me for the podcast, were you? But I think that... I'm sorry, mate. Don't worry, I'll show you how to do it. So,
okay.
Very easy trick. All you have to do is you ask them to pick a card.
Yeah.
Maybe they pick this one.
Okay.
Okay. And you just need to remember the bottom card. It's called a key card. So remember the bottom card. And then when they put the card back in the pack, it's going to go underneath the card that you've remembered. Okay?
Whew,
That's it. So now I can mix it, cut it a few times like this, and it'll be fine. It will still be next to the same card. So I remembered the 7 of diamonds. So I'm going to deal them like this, but kind of messy. You see, it's not in a orderly pile. And then at some point, I'm going to see the 7 card that I remembered, the 7 of diamonds. So we're going to go like this. Now I know the next card is going to be yours. So what I do is I deal that down, but I leave it in the mess, but so that I can see it. Okay, it's kind of sticking out. And then at some point I say, I bet you whatever. I bet you a beer. I bet you a vodka. I bet you an Armenian cognac. I bet you 1,000,000 drams. The next card I turn over will be your card. They say yes. You shake their hand, and then you turn over the card. That is theirs. And then you take your Armenian cognac and you enjoy your night.
I will try this with my family for sure.
Yeah, I hope they don't watch the podcast though, because they're gonna.
I mean,
they're gonna know.
They won't. Yeah.
Before you release it.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
idea.
Great.
Okay. Thank you very much for these tricks, actually,
problem.
because I don't think there was any podcast really that was revealing any card tricks. By the way, have you ever had any deal with any kind of card brand, or maybe you launched something of yours?
No, I haven't actually.
You haven't. Haven't even worked with them.
No. I'm not really that much of a card guy though. Some people are very into cards. They're very into the they call it cardistry. They're doing all this crazy stuff with the cards.
Yeah.
I'm not really into that stuff. I'm more into I like cards are good for Magic. I like them, but I'm not obsessed with cards. Maybe one day.
I mean, that's a great idea because especially now when you can kind of attach some products under your videos. Great idea, I think, for you. I think we can go back to the social media. You are obviously a very big creator. I mean, overall, how many followers do you have across the platforms, approximately?
I think it'd be 16 or 17.
16 or 17.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a very big creator, what's your advice for the social media? I mean, we obviously heard some advice for other YouTubers or influencer. For example, MrBeast was recently on the Diary of the CEO podcast, and he said about the strategy he's using for his social media.
The Armenian Diary of a CEO. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was talking about the purple cow effect.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Remind me what that is. The purple cow.
Purple cow. So he said that you need to do something that's really unusual. For example, when you are driving on the highway and you see a regular cow, you don't really memorize the cow because it's regular. But if you see a purple cow, you will think randomly about it throughout your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's the strategy he's trying to use for his videos. What's the kind of blueprint for you?
The red cow effect. No, I'm joking.
Right.
It's nothing to do with cows. It's actually I like what he's saying for sure. I think you have to stand out, but
yeah, I think he took that from Seth Godin, entrepreneur and marketer.
There was a book, wasn't it? The Purple Cow. I think. So what's my advice for social media?
Yeah.
People want to make social media content. Well, first of all, you gotta just when you say you got to do the purple cow thing, I think sometimes that's a little bit misleading because people are going to think I've got to come up with something totally original that nobody's ever done before, and the problem with that is it's very hard to do, and it's not really how things work, you know. There's a book called Steal Like an Artist, and he says if you copy from one person, you'd be considered a fraud. If you copy from 10 people, you're considered a genius. So you want to look at what's working to start with. Look at what's already working on social media and look to emulate it, but with your own stamp on it, with your own twist on it. There's no point in if you're just starting out, what can you do that is gonna hit if you don't really know what's gonna work? You need to have an idea of what's gonna work. So with me, Magic, the first videos I did were a variation of other videos that I'd seen do well. I did them in my own way with my own personality. And then I built on it from there. Once I got my first few virals, I could come up with my own different style. My first style that really worked well, I would say was kind of my own style that nobody had done, was I'd do magic with my friends, but we'd add comedy into the magic. Yeah. You know, so I had a few guys who were really funny. And so I'd do tricks on them, and then they'd have some funny reaction with the tricks. Yeah. But that came after time. It didn't come out of nowhere. And then it's just about the viral formula. I'm sure you kind of have your own idea of what you think the viral formula is. I'd be interested to know. Like, you've had virals. If you had to basically distill down what's the viral formula, what would you say? And then I'll tell you what I would say.
What I would say, I think for us, having multiple brands, actually, the formula is the storytelling. I mean, everything, every viral content that we have ever posted was based on the storytelling. It's not like some generic advice, but it's an advice based on the story.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was something that was really interesting to people, actually.
Okay. But let me ask you this. If you had to, so storytelling, yes, is always going to be powerful. But what is it about the way you edited that story to make that story grab people in? Because...
Yeah, obviously the hook. Actually, for us, it's very important. I mean, that's the thing that I'm still doing in the team, because that's the psychological one, actually, not the technical stuff of the work. Because what I would do, for example, I'm editing this podcast. I might take the hook from the completely different part from the podcast and attach it to something that was said in the beginning. The hook. And they might not be really kind of related, but sometimes even the bad comments about the unrelatedness of these parts could really help. Yeah. I mean, I don't think if it's the case for you, but I have never kind of taken serious the bad comments. I really like that. Every time I see any bad comment about my videos or the stuff that we are doing, I'm like, great.
Yeah. But I think it's different for your content because I mean, yeah, I've never cared, but I think some people struggle with it if it's them on the video.
Yeah.
So with your content, obviously, you could take it as a criticism of your editing or your choice of video or whatever. But I think when it's somebody there and they're the one on the camera, it can make people feel conscious.
So you never struggled with that?
No. I mean, I think it's about the. I think to a certain extent, I've just never cared. First of all, I always knew that comments and engagement helped the video go viral.
Yeah.
So if I was getting loads of negative comments, I would actually be happy. I'd be like, this is great. This is going to make the video
Yeah,
go
I mean,
more
the thing
viral.
is moving, kind of. Because what I did, I uploaded 3 videos that I showed my face. And I really care about the bad stuff. Especially if there is a kind of very natural criticism. I really like it. I really like people that are, they can say in a not really nice way, but I really like that one as well, because there are too many, I mean, good comments, which I really appreciate. And but the bad ones, I think, are the most important ones for me.
Depends. To be honest with you, like some of the comments are so dumb, bro. Like, come on. I mean,
I'm not talking about those ones, but some opinion at least.
Different platforms have different, I'd say, types of comments. I'd say YouTube comments, even on shorts, are usually more educated, more thought out than comments on any other platform.
I know where you are going, right? To the Instagram, right? The most toxic comments.
Yeah, Instagram can be toxic. TikTok is sometimes quite surprisingly good, as in thought out comments. But I'd say YouTube can't be topped really. I don't know quite why, but it is. I would say this: if somebody's watching and is creating content and is worried, first of all, you can't get into this game if you care about other people's opinions. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, you've got to take, there's audience feedback. If the audience just hate the content and just aren't reacting to it, then yeah, you've got to take it into account and think, well, how can I improve, or can I take that into account and change something? But most of the time, to be honest with you, bro, a lot of the comments are trash. Like, they're just pointless comments. But some people get really hurt by it, Like my mom, for example, she's a journalist, right? Well, she was a journalist for 30 years.
Yeah.
Amazing writer, taught me to write well. But she just can't handle negative comments at all. And bless her, she just gets really upset by them. And when she would write an article for the newspaper, of course, back in the day, she'd write for the print newspaper.
Yeah.
And you get people write in handwritten letters and send them, mail them to the office. She'd get a bad letter, she'd be upset. And then when it went to online, it was online articles, then people would just comment underneath. Anonymous people, no picture, nothing. She would get bad comments, she'd be really upset. And that's just the way she is. No matter what I can tell my mom of saying, you know what, why do you care about some random person's opinion on the internet? You don't even know they're anonymous, etc., etc. She still gets really hurt by it. So, of course, when she stopped doing that job and moved on, she didn't really get that same kind of feedback, and she was much happier. She didn't have all these. But for me, I've never cared. So I don't know. Maybe there's certain types of people who just aren't cut out.
I think that's the case with all the parents, actually, because even here, I mean, Armenia is a very traditional country. You have noticed that for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
And here, I mean, when someone is taking a camera and starting filming himself, there is one particular barrier that he is going to kind of push and break. The one that the opinion of other Armenians. Like,
okay.
Sometimes you would get criticism like it's a shame, for example. And obviously, this is your first time in front of the camera. It will be shame. It will be cringe, for example. But I mean, I think most of the people here that are not really trying to film, I mean, not even here, but I think it's also the case for many countries. It's kind of, they can't really break the barrier of that first kind of attention from their relatives. Even though it's going to watch 10 people, for example. It's going to be 10 people of their mates, with their parents or someone.
That's true. That's definitely true. Like, even for me today, I can post a story on Instagram. And the difference between stories is you can see who's viewed it. Whereas on a video, you can't see who's viewed it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we've all had it. You post a story, you check who's viewed it, and then it's sort of, let's say I could get 100,000 story views, but I'm thinking about this story that I posted, and I'm seeing one person or two people who have seen it. I'm thinking, I wonder how they were reacting when they saw that story. Like, were they sat at home? How did they react? Did someone else see it and go, "What's going on there?" Like, even me to this day, I can think about that small little thing. But you're right. Maybe people just don't get over that barrier because, especially when you're first starting, they're the only people who are going to be seeing it, right?
Yeah.
And I think you say it about Armenia and people saying it's a shame and it's this and it's that. The thing is with that, bro, is it's very much like Yerevan and Armenia. Yerevan is a small city. Yeah. Armenia is a small country. And in many regards, it's a one city country. Like, okay, you've got like Gyumri, you've got a few other places, but the main city where most of the people are is Yerevan. So if you spend most of your time in Yerevan, most of your life in Yerevan, it's like living on a small island almost. And it is, and the size of the city is kind of like it's like a small town in the UK, basically, for size.
Yeah.
Now, some people, like I'm from a small town in the UK, and everybody kind of knows everybody. And I felt much more comfortable doing what I was doing when I moved to London. Because now I was in this massive city, 9 or 10 million people. I'm a nobody in London.
Yeah.
But back home, people knew people from school, this kind of thing. So it was more harder to break through that barrier there, I'd say.
Did they meet you after your fame or before that?
What, like people from school? Or?
Yeah, from your hometown, actually.
I've not had contact with many of them, to be honest. Like, I didn't have many true friends from school, let's say, that I kept in touch with. So yeah, I haven't really spoken to many of them.
Yeah, but have you ever faced the criticism regarding your job? I mean, the thing that you are doing, the magic tricks, not from parents, as your father said that you need to kind of think about more serious things, for example, right? But from other people from your age, maybe.
From my age?
Yeah.
Before I started, or?
Yeah, before that.
No,
I don't think after your fame.
No, not before I started, because when the thing is with magic is when you're performing magic, you're basically evoking an emotion in people where, especially when you're young, you're evoking an emotion in people, which is instantly by default is wow, amazing. So just by basically not to devalue what I do, but just by me doing my job, the reaction is astonishment. Okay, that's the end result of a magic trick. Okay, if I was you could perform a magic trick not so well, but the end result is still amazement. You get what I'm saying? Whereas if you're a singer, you could get a singer who kind of sings a song okay, gets through it, is a bit out of tune. Okay, the reaction's like, oh, okay, good, yeah, that's good. You know, so because of that, and because people don't see magic much when you're a kid, when you're like 17, 18, the reaction is, oh my God, you're so, mate, you're going to be on TV, you're going to be famous, you're going to be... So I think a lot of the people probably expected it almost, which is kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
But they would have thought the same to all the other magicians. If they met another magician instead of me, who 10 years later has done nothing, they would have not thought anything of it. But I think some people might have expected it. But with regards to people... I think you get more criticism for social media, for being a social media creator than from being a magician. Like, there was something I saw the other week, which I thought was funny. There's a guy and he does like these street interviews, or he asks people questions in public. Yeah. And he's in a mall and he asked two kids a question. I can't remember what he asked. And they're walking along and he asked the question, and the kid he said something like, get a job, or get a real job, get a 9 to 5. And the guy was shocked, and the kids just walked off. Now, you'd think in a positive society, okay, this guy's making videos, he's making content, he's found a new way to make money, he's not having to do a normal kind of job. you'd think people would be like, no, forget what the kids said. You're doing you're providing content, you're making people, you're entertaining people, and you found a new way to make them. Good on you. No, the comments were all like, yeah, that kid's right. Yeah, get a job, get a real job. These social media influencers, they do nothing. They just sit there making videos. Well, I'm working a proper job. So it's like a badge of honor. Okay, somebody's working in a factory. That's a badge of honor. But the guy who's thought to do something different, they want. So I'd say, yeah, to answer that question, comes from the people against you making content, because they only see the front end of it. They only see the video. They don't see the business side behind it. They don't see the hours of stress, the reacting to negative comments, the coming up with ideas, building a team, building a business around it.
Is that envy?
It's envy, but it's also they don't understand the model, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody's doing pranks, for instance, okay, most of the pranksters you see online is fake pranks, okay?
Yeah.
Now, they know what's gonna work. They come up with prank ideas, and then they'll do the prank. They'll slap cream in someone's face. Oh no, I can't believe it. Done, right? I hate to ruin Christmas for some kids watching, but that's the way it works. Now, somebody sees that, they're like, look at this loser. He just sits there pranking his poor mom or girlfriend all day, and then just posting these stupid videos. What? Because they're acting. They're just acting like a movie act, like Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp. They're an actor.
Yeah.
But they're doing it as them. They're the character. So the reflection is on them. So if you're a prankster and you're pranking your grandmother, and the grandmother's like, this is great, I love doing these videos behind the scenes, but she gets pranked, people are just going to think, oh, this guy's just terrible to his poor grandmother, right? Do you get what I'm saying? It's a strange grey area where people don't understand it's acting.
Yeah, and they also really kind of envy because of the fact that you are also making a living off of it. For example, I had a normal job actually for 6 years maybe. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's a long time.
What was that like? I don't know what that was. I don't know what that feels like.
Okay, so for example, the last job that I had was at the Marriott Hotel.
Okay, in Republic Square.
Yeah. The most famous one actually. I was working there for 3 years, and for the last year, I kind of asked the director to also bring with me the laptop, which was a problem for them in the beginning because only the executives can bring laptop from the outside.
And what were you doing? What was your job there?
Front desk clerk.
Front desk. Okay, so you wanted to, like, in your time away or your lunch
I mean, I was
break
working mostly night shifts.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really crowded there at night. So what I decided that I think I will use my time there, the one that I'm just wasting then there standing. That's it. You can't even sit there. So you were just standing there. And I thought, okay, maybe if I kind of bring my laptop here and start my YouTube journey here. I mean, because I was doing YouTube since I was 13. And then I stopped because I had a normal job. I kind of fell to the trap. So yeah, what I did, I asked my director to kind of let me bring my laptop here. And what I would do, I would just create content at nights. And what I kind of noticed from other employees there who were working with me, they would just even disturb me at some point so I could just talk to them, not work. Because when they would ask like, what are you doing? Or why your laptop is here even. They didn't even like the fact that I brought my laptop, even though I had permission. So so you would work and someone would come here and tell an 8-hour long story until your shift is done. Something like that. So it was really hard to kind of break that barrier for me, but transitioning from a normal job to having your job actually, to becoming self-employed.
Yeah, I think people don't. I always think when people criticize people who have done something. Look, for example, my most favorite phrase that I like to debunk is like people who say money doesn't make you happy. And the only reason I've not heard the only rich people who say that are the people trying to like keep the other people poor. They're just like, you know what? Yeah, money won't make you happy, peasants. They'll, you know, like, okay, like you're a billionaire, but you're okay. So give your money away to me. Okay, fine. You don't want to. Okay, so people say something like that, but when you see someone who hasn't got much money saying, "Oh, you know what? Look at him. He's got money, but he's not happy," or something like that. Money doesn't make you happy. It's like it's a coping mechanism to say to make sense of why they don't have money themselves. Yeah. So it's the same thing in someone. In that case, if they can distract you from doing your work. If they acknowledge that you're doing a good thing, it kind of adds validity to the fact that they could be doing it themselves.
Yeah.
So by distracting you in their own shift away from doing your dream, it puts them on the level with you where okay, we both haven't achieved anything else in our shift.
I mean, I have a feeling that they would rather spend $100 to kind of lower me down, but not a single dollar for them, just to invest in them to, I don't know, read a book maybe, or spend their spare time more wisely, to not do the thing that they really dislike, but they're maybe too lazy, maybe lost. I don't really want to blame them, but yeah, I mean, the normal job felt like this because they would really distract you if you want to kind of do anything else that doesn't make sense for them.
But the beauty of this is these are all gifts for us, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you've had success after that. And I'm sure that some of the things they said or some of the things they did, you could use as motivation later to almost prove them wrong, or to show them that, not necessarily to them personally, but you know, all the time someone puts you down, every time somebody says something hateful, every time something happens negative, you can use that later. I thought at one point in my life, I thought, you know what, I haven't had enough haters. You know, I was thinking about it. I thought, you know what, I would have loved to have had a teacher at school who was like, "You're not going to amount to anything, Luca. This magician thing's a load of bullshit. You're not gonna amount to anything. You're gonna be working." I wish somebody had said that to me, because that would have been such enormous motivation. I don't think I've had enough of that. So I almost think like, yeah, that stuff's the biggest gift somebody can give you.
I mean, it really surprised me because I thought it's the case for you. I'm really surprised because if someone is a magician and didn't have any criticism during the years, not any, but I thought it would be much more than, for example, I had, and I didn't even show my face.
I did, but it wasn't anything. I wished I would have had something more brutal, if you understand what I'm saying. I remember when on the last day of sixth form, which is, as I said before, just before you go to uni, and the head of the year said, she made some joke, like she went through every person in my year and said some comment about them. Yeah. And the comment she made for me was, oh, and of course we've got Luca, who's an aspiring magician who's mastered the art of disappearing from class. She said something like that. I remember. I guess I still remember it. But if somebody would have said so, I mean, I've still found my own motivation. People would have still laughed at it. People still would have made comments about it. But yeah, I mean, if I could choose what would make me grow more, people being more harsh on me would have made me even better. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, I think so, because I think that's the main kind of reason people are overcoming others. Because I have never even heard about any success stories that didn't start from some breakup, for example, or maybe some criticism or loneliness. I mean, it also comes from financial struggles for sure, but I don't think that's enough motivation to do more. Because if your only motivation is to be financially free, I think 5,000 a month is enough. You will never grow. I mean, beyond that number.
Not in Yerevan.
Where
In Yerevan,
I mean,
you need at least
I'm not
50.
Yerevan, but yeah. I mean, here you can. I mean, in Yerevan, I think you can live great.
It's crazy how expensive this city is, bro.
Really?
Yeah. Like how expensive it's got is crazy to me.
I mean, yeah, I've also seen the list that said that Yerevan is now more expensive to live than in Moscow.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Now it's more expensive than in Moscow. I mean, if you are living in the center, yeah, and there are some house prices that don't even make sense. I mean, if you could just buy one house in the center, a nice house, you could buy 3 in Dubai.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my whole point, bro. That's my whole point.
I mean, the street we are in right now, the street next to us, is a street where houses can cost up to $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like 2-3 houses in Dubai.
Yeah.
Even great houses, actually.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that really doesn't make sense. And I don't know how people can really afford in the future some house here. That's why most of the people are renting as well.
Yeah. No, it is crazy. Not to put people off Yerevan, but it's not as cheap as you might think. Like Tbilisi is a lot more affordable. Yeah. But despite all of that, I much prefer Yerevan. You know, if I were to go down a logical list, you could say Tbilisi ticks more boxes in some regards. Okay, it's probably a bit bigger. It's got more variety. It's got a nice river. It's got different sides of town. It's got like the old town. It's got the Vaque area, which is quite fancy. It's got a lot of things going for it. It's a lot cheaper and more affordable. You get a much bigger bang for your buck. But despite all of that, I much prefer Yerevan. So
yeah,
it's something you can't always put a finger on. But
that's why it really interested me, because I know you for 3 years, not personally. I mean, I just been following you. That's it. And I saw that you came to Yerevan, and I thought, okay, he's gonna stay here maybe for a week, and that's it. And then I saw you the next year, and the next year, and now.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
By the way, when people search your name, it says that you are a social media entrepreneur. I would like to ask, what does that even mean? I mean, what's the difference between?
Did I even write that?
I don't know. I don't really. No, I think
social media entrepreneur.
It was also said during your previous podcast.
Okay. No, I guess you could say that.
I mean, what's the difference? Do you have any like business or maybe some creators that you support and kind of take 30% or something?
Yeah. No, we have some of that stuff. So I opened an agency, so we started doing brand deals, things like that. And obviously we have quite a few different Snapchat shows, different platforms. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a business at the end of the day. It is a business, and there's your personal brand, and then there's also kind of beyond that. You can expand beyond that. But I still think I still think a personal brand is the biggest equity you can have. I always thought about, you know what, if let's take someone in this. You know Gary Vee, right?
Yeah.
Gary Vee. Okay, let's say Gary Vee tomorrow lost everything. Okay, we snapped our fingers. He's got no money. He's got no VaynerMedia. He's got no Vayner Wines or whatever his other thing is. He's got no New York Jets. Does he own the New York? No, that's Patrick. But
no, that's Patrick. Yeah. I think he just has. Some...
No, it's New York Yankees. Okay, whatever. I don't know this American sports stuff. Whatever. He likes the Jets. He loses everything. Guess what? He can get up tomorrow morning, wake up, make 2 phone calls, get a speaking gig for
100K.
100K. Bam, he's back in business. Just off his own being Gary Vee. So that's his business can go bust. His grapes could be stop growing, right? But he's still got himself. So I think that's a great investment for anyone, even for yourself, bro. I think at some point, I think personal brand for you would be great.
Yeah, I think. Look, I have a story with Gary Vee. I want to ask the same question to you that I was trying to ask him. I mean, in December, I was in Dubai and I was attending, I don't remember how it was called, but Gary Vee was a speaker there. Okay. And I had a chance to ask Gary Vee a question, and then one girl came and interrupted me. I mean, it was a funny story actually.
Should have told her have some empathy, you know.
I mean, it was a crazy story because I couldn't even do anything. She said something really crazy. I mean, so I went there, I found the mic because I knew that after his speaking engagement, there's gonna be a Q&A, and I found the mic. I wanted to ask a question. I will ask you soon the same question, and I thought, well, I'm the first one in the queue. No one is gonna be before me. And then when it came the time for the Q&A, Gary is now choosing the sectors from the stage and chooses my sector. And then a girl came here and said, you know, I've been before you. I said, what you mean? She said, yeah, you can ask the personal. I asked some workers there and they said, yeah, she just chose to sit there and wait. I said, okay, can you just do me a favor? You can ask whatever question you want to ask, but can you just say, I have another question at the end of your question? She said, oh yeah, sure. And then she grabbed the mic and started crying. She started to cry and said that my best friend passed away recently, and I don't even remember if there was any question. She was just trying to find the support. And I don't know if that recording is going to be available someday or not, but when you see the recording, you will see that I'm just trying to run away from there, because if she said that she has another question and I ask my technical question, they would hate me. I mean, the whole stadium. So yeah, I kind of escaped the place. And the thing I was trying to ask Gary Vee is the transition from creator's mindset to an entrepreneur. I mean, everyone is starting as a creator. Someone is editing videos, someone is filming videos, and then they need to kind of shift their mindset into someone who need to create an ecosystem that can operate without them. Okay. In some cases, or maybe not be that busy that they are now. So what's the shift for you, and how did you deal with the business? Because with the personal brand, I think it's going to be much, much harder.
I think
you can outsource, or I don't know.
The personal brand.
Yeah.
I think when if you're making your own videos and it's not so much formulaic, you know, some people it's just they speak, let's say they do a podcast, they speak. People, they can get an editor just chop up the clips, and it's kind of it's not easy, but it's more straightforward.
Yeah.
If you're making some kind of content on social media, at first you need to understand it yourself, because how can you teach it to somebody else if you don't understand it yourself? So you have to master it, all the little details, the hook, like you say, you know, how to keep people's attention, the pacing of the video, the thumbnail, how to film it, the lighting, all of these things you need to understand fully. And at some point you can obviously lay that off to somebody else. For me, it was about, first of all, it was brand deals coming in. So when I started, there wasn't so much ad revenue and opportunities as there are now. So it was a lot of brand deals. So I teamed up with a good friend of mine who's a great business guy, and we opened the business together, and he was essentially my manager when it came to brand deals.
Yeah.
So he would negotiate on my behalf, and I think that was the biggest probably shift in when I started to make some money, because having someone to do the business side, first of all, it allowed me to focus on creating, but also brand deals are very hot at this point. And I think if you have somebody else to negotiate for you, you have a much bigger negotiating power than if you're doing it yourself. So I think that's the first step. If you're getting brand deal inquiries, you need someone. There are agencies, but you know, maybe it's somebody that you trust and you know and has good sales skills who can handle the brand deals, take a percentage, and can represent you. It's important. It has to be the right person, but that's probably the first step. That can get some money coming in, and because they're representing you and not you representing yourself, it's much easier to obviously sell you, but also to sort of be the go-between between you and the brand.
Yeah.
Because if you're the brand and I'm speaking to you and I say $20,000 this brand deal, and you say, no, max, we got 15.
Yeah.
If there's no one in between, it's not, first of all, it doesn't look as professional. You have less perceived value. And secondly, there's no way to negotiate in a way that is not personal to you. You're the brand you're selling. And then, so someone in between can say, look, I'm on your side. I'm on your side. Luca doesn't usually perform for less than 20. So I can try and convince him for you to, maybe we can, and then they can go back to them and say, look, I've spoken to Luca. I really want to push this over the line for you. He can do 17 and a half. Okay. Like, and they say, oh, thanks so much. Yeah, that's great. So it kind of changes the dynamic. It's not me asking for more. It's not me saying, I want this, I want that. It's someone in between who's sort of in the middle, kind of neutral. Once you've done that, obviously there's different sides of it. You're going to build up a catalog of content, and you need it to be distributed, and that's another thing in itself. But that's a lot easier to have someone do, than
the distribution or the negotiation fees or something.
No, the distribution of the content. Once you've got content that you want to get out there, that's easier than the process of negotiating, because the negotiating is a skill in itself. Obviously an important skill.
I mean, then distribution is also very important. I mean, if I was all alone, I think, in this business 2 years ago, and then my mentor kind of really pushed me to break the limits to finally hire someone, because the problem was that I really liked everything that I was doing in my job. I mean, from the editing, from the clip coordination, from negotiation, everything. And they didn't really kind of want to give away my job to another one and also pay them. That was the problem. Yeah, and that's a mindset from being self-employed to kind of business owner, let's say, not an entrepreneur yet, but I think business owner is I think it's very crucial. And what you did is you kind of kept the creative sector of your job and just gave away the negotiation and the deal part.
That was the first one, yeah. And then obviously, I think it's your first hire. There's got to be someone who's a bit of an all-rounder. Maybe it's an editor. Or maybe it's an assistant who. My first hire was probably an editor. My second hire was probably an assistant, and went from there. But you're right. The problem is, I actually enjoy the business side, to be honest with you. I quite enjoy it. I don't think there's not many people who enjoy the creative and the business part. But I know that I can't be as creative as I can be if I'm consumed in the business side of it. So I can't do both. Maybe some people are just incredibly gifted, but me personally, I need to keep the two separate. Yeah. So by making the hires, it increased my creativity output. Whereas before I was doing things myself, and it would take up my mental bandwidth very quickly. Yeah.
How did your first employees help to your business? I mean, did you really notice the spike?
Yeah. I mean, like I say, the first brand deal, the brand deals was the first money I made. Yeah. And then that was great. And then I don't know, in my social media, in my personal brand, I don't know whether it made a spike. It just freed me up to make more content. I think the spike came when I was creating more content, and the reason I was creating more content was because I had more time to create the content. So it wasn't like, it's not a normal, because I was at the front of it creating. That was more what it was. So I had tasks that were taking up my time, energy, time vampires were offloaded. Stuff like the editing could improve and be quicker, and I could just focus more purely on ideas, creating, filming.
Yeah.
You know,
Didn't you have this feeling that no one can do this better than you at the time?
they
I mean,
can't.
even the
They
editing.
can't. The editing, yes. The editing.
Yeah.
Training an editor. I actually. Well, he doesn't work with me now, but like the first editor I hired full time was an Armenian guy.
Yeah.
And at first, he's great now. Even now I'll work with him from time to time because he kind of understands it. But it was difficult to train him because they have a certain mindset of how an edit should look. But I know how to edit a viral video.
Yeah.
You understand?
I guess he came from a television background.
No. He was doing Upwork. He was doing projects. So he was.
okay.
So he was easier to adapt. But I can edit myself. I know how to edit, and that's the good thing. I knew how to do it first, but I just know. I have an instinct for it now. I know where to cut. I know what the hook is. I know how fast to pace it. I know how to introduce the twist at the end.
There's the psychology behind.
I know where to put the subtitles on the screen so that it doesn't distract from the video. Like all of these little things, where to put an arrow, where to put a little ding sound effect, where to put the music in, you know, all of that stuff. I just knew it instinctively now. So to kind of, I had to work with him extremely closely for ages until he got the hang of it. And even then we had, I think the best kind of employees that they have their own opinion. So you'll give them like, you'll tell them how you want it. And they'll say, actually, what about this? And sometimes you might say, mate, that's a terrible idea. We're not doing it that way. Now, as long as they're okay with that, they're fine. I find Armenians quite good for, they don't take it personally. In England, you have to be a bit more sort of like, I like how you did that, but maybe if we try it, just make a little, you have to sort of tiptoe around it. But here you can be a bit more direct. So I'd say, yeah, you. Oh, that was good. That was magic. What was I saying? Okay, yeah. So worked very closely with him, and then after a while, I could work. He just got it. He just got it. And maybe I'd make a few small tweaks, and by giving him the freedom to, you know, give me his own ideas, sometimes he'd come up with a better idea than me. And that'd be great, and that was rewarding. Sometimes I'd disagree, but it was a good relationship that way. And obviously, I've worked with other editors since, and
yeah, I mean that's when the growth starts really, because I mean I really didn't want to give up on any position that I had here, because I really just kind of wanted to do this till the end of my life, but we wouldn't have the growth that we are having now if I didn't have a team, actually. And because, I mean, the first time I kind of had to hire someone, I was so envy because of it, because I thought, oh, there's going to be someone who's going to edit the videos. Yeah, and with the Armenian workers, I had the team actually internationally. I gave up on them, unfortunately, recently, and it's been maybe a year that we have fully Armenian team here, and we are operating from the same office. Because if it was just me, we wouldn't be able to do the volumes we are doing now. I think we are posting maybe 70 or 80 pieces of content per day. Yeah, I mean that's
on all platforms.
Yeah, all platforms, and
we need to do a collaboration, right? I need to just sit in front of a mic, talk complete shit for 2 hours, just to myself, not even a podcast. And then your guys can chop it up and just post it everywhere. And then,
I mean, the thing with this podcast, actually, the right here that we are doing actually is, this podcast might watch, I don't know, a few thousand people, but but the shorts and the clips that we are gonna create, and also edit different variations for different social media platforms. I mean, our one clip is gonna be edited and posted maybe 5 times in different platforms. It's not. I'm not even talking about the variations. Because we have different brands. For example, with your Financian, we have our style of editing, but we have another brand, which is also doing a good numbers actually, and there is no editing at all. And so we have these very different variations. So one video is going to be posted in maybe 5 platforms, 20 times, and we might do like, I don't know, 20 edits off of one podcast. So it's like over 150 posts, I hope. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever repost the same video multiple times?
On the same channel? No, never.
Never?
No,
Bro,
never.
try it.
On every platform, because I don't think that YouTube is going to be happy about it. I think TikTok might be, but what's your take on Instagram?
Instagram definitely. Have you seen this guy's page, Mr. Thank You?
Thank you.
Mr. Thank You.
No.
You're not seeing this guy? He's the fastest growing page. He's got 47 million on Instagram.
Is it the guy that's posting 100 times per day?
Yeah, something like that. Not 100, maybe like 10.
Are they from India?
No. That's an Indian page. This guy posts about 10 times a day.
Yeah.
So he basically, he's a super. You've seen the sketch. Surely it's like he's with his girlfriend. The girl drops something on the floor. He picks it up, gives it to her. She goes, "Thank you," and then for the rest of the day, his girlfriend's like, "Thank you, thank you." You've seen this sketch, yeah?
Yeah, I've seen it.
That was his main. That's where his name comes from.
Yeah.
But no, he posts loads. He posts like every day, 10 times.
The same content, or
But he reposts stuff. So he'll repost the same video like 10 times over on Insta.
I mean, for us, I think for you it's safe, but not for us, because all this time we were just stealing other people's content and just reposting the same thing over and over again. I mean, we once got strike from Grant Cardone for some reason. Yeah, because he didn't like the thing that he said himself. I don't know why, but I mean, for us it's not that safe. So for us, what's safe is to create variations, different styles. Even if you change the font style, it's going to be a whole different video.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Or at least the background music. So yeah, we are just creating brands, and we are making variations for each brand. And each brand has like 5 platforms, and we are just doing massive numbers. So yeah, the podcast is going to have, but the podcast itself is going to have like a few thousand views, but overall with the shorts, it's going to have millions and millions for sure. That's our strategy, and we are also doing it for our clients as well.
Yeah,
we are not really we weren't really into long form until recently, because I now really enjoy it. I mean, if it wasn't for long form, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. And I just wanted also to ask you about your next goal, because I don't really understand your industry as much, and I just want to compare it with, for example, comedians. For each comedian now, you see that their end goal is to have a show on Netflix, for example, a Netflix special.
Yeah.
What's the next for you?
I don't really care about a Netflix special, to be honest. I'm a magician by name.
Yeah.
You know, I'm known as a magician because that's a lot of the content that I've made. But I don't see myself as being defined by that. You know, so now I don't see any other platform that's really going to go bigger than what you could do on social media. So it might sound like a boring answer, but I could say, yeah, I want a Netflix show. I want this. I want an Amazon Prime show. Those are great if they come about. But again, it's still a little bit of a lottery. You can't bank on that.
Yeah.
For me, it's becoming bigger and bigger on social media, but now taking it in other directions. So longer form content, YouTube, vlog sort of content, also podcasts for sure, and building another kind of business model behind that, whether it's me selling some kind of membership, some course, something where I can give something that, I don't sound cheesy, but something where I can package up stuff that I know and put it out there, because that's ultimately what that's the end result. If you're doing vlogs and podcasts, you're talking, it's more personality based. I think you can do 2 types of videos. You can do personality based or content based. MrBeast is very much content based, idea based.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of move away from that and be more personality based, and then build a business model around that.
Yeah, and have a bunch
because
of
I could churn out short videos and Facebook videos forever, and it'll make good money. But it's just, you know,
Yes, they're also gonna teach other people, the stuff that you're doing.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe not magic. Maybe something else. Maybe depends what I talk about on the podcast, bro. You'll have to tune in.
Any course maybe in the future.
I think course, bro. At the end of the day, I know everybody's doing courses, but it's really, as long as you're making something that's good. There's a lot of scam courses, yeah. But I think it's what you've got to do. I've paid for courses before that have really helped me.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of people will say it's as, you know, courses are a scam now because of the fact that.
Have you ever created one or?
No, I haven't.
I mean, I'm trying to create a course for a year already, and I'm not finishing it because I can't understand how am I doing it. I think you will have the same problem as well.
Yeah, I think
you are doing everything like intuitively, and then you just can't explain how you are doing it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. If I was doing I suppose it's difficult to articulate it sometimes. If you have something that's a natural skill,
especially the things that are psychological, really, not really technical, but psychological.
Yeah, it's hard to break it down. I get what you're saying. Are you talking about how to make a viral?
Yeah, I mean the virality. I mean the most common question I get from from my team is like, why did you choose this frame for the beginning, or why did you kind of integrated this part of the podcast here? I know that it's psychological. Yeah, it's instinct, and also I really studied psychology, but I can't really explain why, because at first it doesn't make sense, but it works. That's the thing.
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah, I get it's hard to sometimes describe it, but
especially the things that I mean, especially the things that don't really make sense in business or in personal branding. Everything. Yeah.
Why didn't you think of the purple cow thing? You said
and when you are trying to kind of outsource what you are doing, it's the most difficult part. Is why should we do something that doesn't make sense at all?
Sometimes that is a secret. You got to trust your gut instinct, you know. But you can only have a gut instinct once you kind of understand the basics. It's like when I'm picking a thumbnail, I have to sort of put my mind into the mind of the person viewing it. Yeah. And I quite enjoy it because you have to view it like a viewer. But I will put 3 or 4 thumbnails next to each other, and I'll just like glance over them. I'll be like, bam, that one. It's just I'm drawn towards that one. I can't describe to you, well, it's because of this. It's just at some point you have to cut it off and say, my head's now in the viewer. How do I feel as a viewer? That's how I feel. Yeah. And so you can't really explain that to a high enough point to make it, because it's not formulaic, and sometimes you're wrong. No matter what, there's no formula to get it right every time.
Have you seen how they create the thumbnails for MrBeast?
No.
So what they are doing is they are creating variations, and each design is going to cost them $30K. Each design, and all that is just for, in the end, MrBeast to come here and say like this one in 1 second.
$30K for 30K Armenian drams.
Yeah. There might be like, I don't know, 10 variations. That's $300K.
Yeah, MrBeast likes to spend money, or he reinvests his earnings.
He said that he is technically a billionaire, but he doesn't even have $1 million in his account. Yeah.
It's interesting.
He's too content driven. Really.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to care.
Yeah.
I mean, each to their own. I prefer to have a bit less views, but have quite a few millions in my bank account. But that's just me. But if he's happy, fair enough, and he's the top of his game for what he's doing. So
okay. Thank you very much for this podcast, Luca Gallone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again. This was really a great podcast, and make sure to subscribe to his channel and follow his socials. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Cheers.